Why do men always think they own you? My ex-boyfriend Trevor thought he could control everything I did. We dated for 2 years, and slowly he started making all these little rules. I couldn't wear certain clothes because they were too revealing. I couldn't hang out with my friends because they were bad influences. He made me share my location on my phone so he could track where I went. Said it was for safety, but really he just wanted to spy on me. If I took too long at the grocery store, he'd call asking why I was taking so long. The worst part was my job. I worked as a waitress at this family restaurant downtown. Good tips, flexible hours, and I loved the people I worked with, but Trevor hated it. All those men looking at you in that uniform, he'd say. It's basically like you're flirting with them for money. He started showing up during my shifts. He'd sit at the counter drinking coffee for hours, watching me serve tables. My manager Kyle noticed and asked if everything was okay at home. I lied and said everything was fine, but it wasn't fine. Trevor was making my life miserable, and I felt trapped. He'd time how long I talked to each table. If I laughed at a customer's joke, he'd accuse me of flirting. One busy Friday night, this regular customer named Bobby came in. He was probably 65, always ordered the same thing, and tipped really well. Sweet old guy who reminded me of my grandpa. Bobby always sat at booth 7, ordered the meatloaf special, and asked about my college classes. He'd been coming in for 3 years, way before I started dating Trevor. Bobby was sitting at his usual booth when Trevor walked in. I saw Trevor's face change when he noticed Bobby looking at me and smiling while I took his order. His jaw clenched, and he started staring at Bobby like he wanted to fight him. After Bobby left, Trevor cornered me by the coffee machine. Who was that old creep? He demanded. Why was he staring at you like that? How long has he been coming here? I explained Bobby was just a regular customer who'd been coming here for years, but Trevor wouldn't listen. He said if I really loved him, I'd quit this job and find something else, somewhere with less temptation. Maybe you should work at a clothing store or something, he said. Somewhere you don't have to smile at men all day. That night I went home and cried. I loved my job, but Trevor was making it impossible. I started thinking maybe I should just quit to keep the peace. My tips were good, but Trevor made every shift miserable. The next week, Bobby came in again, but this time something was different. After he finished eating, he asked if he could speak to me privately. I was nervous because I knew Trevor would be furious if he found out. I don't mean to overstep, he said quietly, but I've been watching that young man who comes in here. The way he watches you isn't normal. That's not love, sweetheart. That's control. I was shocked. I thought we'd been hiding it well, but apparently Bobby had seen everything. The way Trevor timed my conversations, the way he stared at every customer I served. Bobby continued. I was married to a controlling woman for 30 years. She monitored my every move, isolated me from my friends, made me feel like I was crazy, nearly destroyed my life. You're a smart girl with your whole future ahead of you. Don't let him steal that from you. Then Bobby did something that changed everything. He handed me a business card. It was for a law firm downtown, fancy letterhead and everything. That's my daughter's office, he said. She specializes in helping women in situations like yours. If you ever need help getting away from him, you call her. She'll handle everything for free. I took the card with shaking hands. Bobby smiled and left his usual big tip, but this time he wrote something on the receipt. You deserve better. Call Lisa. That weekend, I finally worked up the courage to call Bobby's daughter. Her name was Lisa, and she was amazing. She explained how controlling relationships work, how they start small and get worse over time. She helped me make a plan to leave Trevor safely. She even helped me file a restraining order when Trevor started stalking me after I broke up with him. The crazy part? Bobby had been watching Trevor's behavior for months. He recognized the signs because he'd lived through it himself, just from the other side. He knew what emotional abuse looked like. 6 months later, I got promoted to assistant manager at the restaurant. Bobby still comes in every Friday, and now he brings his grandson sometimes. The kid's about 10 and always orders chocolate chip pancakes. Last week, a young woman came into the restaurant with a guy who was acting just like Trevor used to, watching her every move, questioning her about everything, timing how long she spent in the bathroom. I grabbed Bobby's daughter's business card from behind the register and quietly slipped it to her when her boyfriend wasn't looking. She looked at me with these scared, grateful eyes and whispered, "Thank you." Bobby saw the whole thing and gave me the biggest smile. He knew exactly what I'd just done.